The following production is part of the Play Some Video Games podcast network.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Play Some Video Games PSVG, the flagship show of the Play Some Video Games podcast network. It is I, your host, Kevin. As always, with me, I've brought the beauty and the beast of the podcast universe. I'll let you guess who is who. We have the Nintendo herself, Caroline. How we doing?
Hey, I'm great. I'm the beast.
You said it, not me.
Oh, okay.
And also with us this week, Coach Mo, sir. How we doing?
Hi, guys.
No. You're supposed to say, hey, everybody. What's going on?
That was my beauty voice.
Does that make me like Lumiere or something right now?
No, you have to put on the French accent.
Homie.
Bonjour,
Cosworth,
everyone,
okay.
and welcome to PSVG.
That's Spanish.
Let us
sir.
pull up a chair.
No habla español, señor. Now, he was cut out of the movie. They didn't let him in because immigration laws, you know. Awkward.
Yep.
Anyway, we're taking a little bit different approach with the show this week. As you know, the road to E3 is ahead of us. We're just about a month today from a month, and we'll be right in the middle of it.
12th.
No.
Well, all the stuff starts on the 9th. So
That's what I'm saying. So we're a little bit off, but we're about a month away. Some of the shows have already started things, so you might have heard. Nintendo Shack's been dragging it out for a long time and painfully slow.
We haven't had anything to talk about.
No, I know it's true, but they're taking like an E3 topic a week, I guess, right now. The board with VG guys broke all the rules and decided to just talk about EA, which broke Coach Mo's heart. So I had to bring him here tonight.
I'm not gonna say I cried openly, but
you
cried.
did.
But
Yeah,
I
just
cried.
just a little bit.
Openly. Yeah.
I will say though, they didn't talk a whole lot about it, so I won't blame them fully for it. But I did like a lot of what they said. Number one thing that they hoped that they would see was the return of EA Big, which would be amazing.
That would be awesome.
I know Coach would be excited for that. That means Def Jam could come back.
Oh, Def Jam! I love you so much.
Although thinking about that, not to dwell on this too long because this is not what tonight's show about. I feel like they can't do Def Jam nowadays because rappers nowadays are terrible.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to be the fighters? They'd have to still use the old fighters then.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it right now. I don't know if there's a rapper out there that it strikes fear into you the way like when you saw Busta ready to go, you were like, "That's a big man. That is." That was in real life.
The personality. Yeah, you have Kanye and Jay-Z in a slap fight. Like nobody wants to play that.
I would take Hova. I think Hova might lay a lick or two.
I could see him playing in NBA Street because he's lanky, but
I could see everybody seeing Eminem in the corner and walking away. Going, that's not a fight we want, even in a video game.
I don't know. I guess Nas would probably be good.
All I need is one mic. Change my life.
True. It's true. Yeah. Anyway, so they talked about EA, so that's been covered. Nintendo is talking about Nintendo stuff. So we're going to kick it off, and we're kind of covering the third-party stuff. So tonight we're going to talk about Square Enix. But before we do that, let's talk a little bit about what we've been playing, what we've been up to. Ladies first, Caroline.
All right. I did this yesterday, but it really hadn't changed. I bought Nintendo Labo Variety Kit.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, I did. And I've only built the first two things and the practice thing, which is the Joy-Con controller holder. Yeah. And I really enjoyed the fishing game. Like that fishing thing is going to be really addictive. And it's ridiculous how many fish that are just like, let's pull the Animal Crossing fishing lineup and,
Yes.
and just put it in there. Like I'm like, it's a Napoleon fish. Oh my God. But it's a lot more in depth than I thought it would be. I kept reeling my line down. I was like, oh, this is how you reel your line down. You have to reverse it. And I kept going and going. I'm like, I'm on the ocean floor. Are you kidding me right now? It's absolutely incredible to create this stuff. I enjoy the creation process. And having the game attached to it at the end is just an even bigger payoff. I am excited to do the house, and the piano is probably the one that I'm most excited for, but I have to find the time where I just like sit down and do it. Yes. I haven't had that time yet. What's the other one? The house, the piano, and
the motorcycle.
Oh yeah, that's right. The one with the handles. Yeah, so I have 3 more left to make, and I will probably be buying the robot kit later on. I finished Xenoblade Chronicles, the first game for the Wii, so I'm taking a JRPG break because that's all I've been doing since December. And I finished Pokemon Ultra Moon the other day. I'm taking a Pokemon break too because I kind of got burnt out on it. You can only play the same game so many times, even though the Ultra series is different. I played the Sun and Moon games both, and it doesn't change over until the middle of the game. And Ultra Sun, I still got to go through, and it's going to be a chore. What else have I done? I got Shantae for the Switch. It came in on Tuesday, and I haven't even popped it in my system yet. So
that's surprising because you've been excited for that.
Yeah, well, I've already played it on Wii U, but I haven't played the DLC. I've just been really busy with a bunch of real life crap, and I think that's about it. I can't think of anything else that I played.
I will say, did Justin and I steer you wrong with Labo, or are you?
Oh no, I'm absolutely in love with it. Like I said, I'm one of those people that loves to make things like crafts and paint, and I sit down. I've grown up painting ceramics my whole life, and so I love the creating and the cleaning with clay and then painting the piece and stuff. So I'm used to sitting down for hours on end and doing artsy stuff.
Nice. Perfect. So I still have not built a motorbike myself though either. So just real life, been busy. Game wise though, been playing a lot of Fortnite still, but I've kind of committed myself to stay away from it for the time being until I at least beat Far Cry 5 because I love Far Cry 5, but I'm not dedicating enough time to it. I did play a lot of it last night and tore through and got a lot farther than I was. So I'm nearing the last leg of it. I think maybe another week or so and I'll be done in time probably for them just to drop the DLC during E3 or something on me and I'll go right back into it. But still love that game. It's a fantastic game. Destiny 2, the new expansion dropped there. So I did jump into it for a little bit on PS4. Problem is I haven't been grinding the entire time since the last DLC.
No.
So my character is, it's like the recommended minimum for this expansion is like 310, and jumping into it I was like 302. So
you got a little of a grind.
Yeah, I beat the first couple missions. I survived, but then I hit a certain point where I'm like, this is just too hard. So I'm going to need to step back and do some other things. So I'll probably still jump in and play with Seth and his buddies on Tuesday nights. They kind of have a standing game night with that. So I'll probably still keep playing that to grind away and join and keep playing it because I do like Destiny. It's fun. And then the last thing Switch-wise, the only thing I'm playing on Switch, because we're in this kind of lull for me, is I'm still playing that Adventures Pal, which I think you would actually... Yeah. I think you'd like it when you get around to it.
It's super cute. The way that what I've seen is just absolutely adorable. Like you ride around on a giraffe or something.
Yeah, you have two. You're a boy on adventure to save your grandfather who had been changed into a hot dog because that's what the villain does, as they're known to do. And you have a pet giraffe that he gave you that kind of hides in your backpack during the levels. When you're in the overall map, you're riding him. He's in your backpack, and he will when you jump, he will stick his head out of the backpack and twirl it around like a helicopter, so you can float. Yeah, and he can also grab things with his tongue to let you swing. And then you have a pet rock who helps you attack things.
I can't handle this. Is this physical?
No, digital only. Unfortunately. It seems like it was a very small studio that did it. I think it's actually their first major release. But I will say, I think it was like $15. It might even been 10. There's a lot of game there. Like I've been playing it pretty religiously on like lunch breaks and digging into it. And I think I'm only like 75% of the way through. So it's definitely at least 10, 15, 20 hour game, which is pretty darn good for like an indie title. So
crap.
Yeah,
it's
good.
One to add to the list.
Yeah, it's fun and it's not frustrating like Celeste is or anything like. It's not like that type of game. It's definitely playable. The writing is very funny and it's a very just weird game overall. But
awesome.
Yeah, it's fun. Coach, what have you been playing, man?
So this week I've played a grand total of 2 hours of video games.
Oh,
An hour and 50 minutes of it was baseball, playing MLB 18. Put a little stream of my character up there. Someone keeps jumping in to watch, and like it's like 1 to 2 people jump in, and the moment I give up a hit, they jump out.
Aw.
They're just trying to watch for a no-hitter. And so every time I'm like, all right, we're doing our best. Then I give up the hit and they leave. And I'm like, oh awesome, guys. And
Failure.
then I played 10 whole minutes in a row of Nintendo Switch.
Whoa.
I played Payday.
Oh, how is that?
Gosh.
So I mean, it's old game, but is it good?
Yeah.
So I did the first mission and was like, okay, it's Payday. It's not as pretty. But again, I love first-person shooters, and that is a first-person shooter. And so I was enjoying the mechanic. And then I played the second mission, but the controls are so wonky, I couldn't figure out how I was getting caught. And it kept restarting you because you're supposed to be stealth for this mission. And I was like, I don't care enough to find out.
Oh my God. So you just quit?
I just like, I'm just going to lay here in bed and ice my knee and fall asleep reading a comic instead. And so that's what it turned into. I was like, I'm just going to set you to the side. Last weekend, though, I did play almost 2 hours of Breath of the Wild.
Heck yeah.
Because Caro gave me this clip and I watched all of the story stuff.
Yeah,
the
memories.
The memories. And I tried to go find some of those.
Okay.
I still am not a huge fan of the character. But once you see that story clip, that game makes a lot more sense.
Totally.
I kind of wish they would have, made those more accessible in game to give the people who have no backstory on Link some. Because I'm telling you, like, I remember the moment I put it down and said this is ridiculous was when I did the boss battle for the fish girl.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I
Divine
did
Beast.
that. We're sitting on top. She tells me that she loves me. I'm like, I love you too. Let's be best friends forever. And then it cuts, and I don't actually get to say I love you too. It just cuts. And I'm like, really? she just confessed undying love to me on top of the giant beast, and you can't just say, thanks, girl. I appreciate your time.
Well, see, in medieval Hyrule, society didn't approve of fish-human relations.
I fully support fish girl Link love.
A lot of people do. A lot of people support fish boy Link love.
Yeah, they do.
All day.
I do agree with you though, Mo. So like, and you know me, I'm a Nintendo fan, and I loved Breath of the Wild. But I'm with you. The memories, they should have like at least identified them on the map or something. Like I hate the whole like here's this vague picture of somewhere in this giant map that you can maybe find this sparkling thing.
I think they did a good job though of like once you discovered those landmarks, you're like, oh my God, I saw that picture. And I don't know.
I found one, and I was just like, I don't care enough. I'll YouTube the real ending, and that's kind of what I did.
Oh, so I went out of my way to like explore and find them all. I think I only used the guide for one.
Yeah.
And it was like just the random woods. It's like, okay, which woods? Because there's like tons of these patches of trees. But I'm glad you liked it, Coach, enough to get back into it, dude.
It was one of those things like when you sent it to me, you're like, try this. And I was like, she's never lied to me. I will trust. I will watch. And I watched it and I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. Oh, I see. Oh, so that's how you guys knew each other. And I went through like all these emotions going, oh yeah, I would have been great to know that.
Yeah.
Did you watch all of them though?
I watched the whole one you sent me.
Okay, well, yeah, if you want to, I'm sure you probably won't buy the DLC, but there's a whole nother one that you should watch that's of just the DLC, and it's more story like that. And there's a really heartwarming one in that one. And then obviously, if you didn't get the real ending, you should watch the real ending after the credits.
Well, I found out I do have the DLC, and it's only because I was one of the lucky ones who got one of those collector editions. Well, I didn't get it. Lacey got it.
Oh.
And my profile happens to be on her Switch.
Right.
And so I have it via that.
Sweet.
So that was pretty cool. But yeah, that's been not a lot of gaming for this week. I'm getting prepared to move, so I'm doing the whole grown up packing stuff. And my game room is very bare. So
rest in peace.
Amen.
All
rest
right.
in boxes.
Rest in boxes. No resting because he has boxes. That's the problem.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned at the top of the show here, we're here to talk about Square Enix. This E3, Square is holding its first press briefing since 2015. They've been vacant from E3, at least in press conference mode since then. And following along with Nintendo and supposedly Sony, from everything we're hearing, it's going to be a video live stream that is pre-recorded ahead of time following the Nintendo Direct methodology, which I'm torn. I'm of two thoughts here. I like it because you're not going to have those terrible, awkward like YouTubers trying to present something and it just comes off really flat.
Mhm.
But I also feel it. I do like the reactions of the crowd when something's shown and people are like, yeah.
That's what I miss the most about Nintendo's stuff. I mean, we haven't had that like Twilight Princess reveal moment.
Yes.
And we never will.
Yeah. So they're following that clip. So we'll see. I mean, I love the way Nintendo does their delivery now. It's crisp, it's polished, and I like that about it. But I do kind of miss
they've done it pretty well.
Yeah. It'll be available in English and Japanese beginning at 1 p.m. Eastern on Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube all at the same time. And then, of course, it'll be archived on YouTube after that if you can't watch it live. That will be at 1 p.m. on June 11th. 1 p.m. Eastern time, I should say, for those of you listening to other ones. Yep. So they gave absolutely no hints on lineup, saying only that we'll connect you to the many worlds within our universe during this press conference there. So here's what I want to do, guys. I asked you all ahead of time to bring in a couple thoughts. I want to hear, we're going to talk about what things that we think are safe bets that we know, at least mentally, we know we're going to see at E3 from Square Enix. Two things that we personally hope we see that may not necessarily be happening or not. And then two things that absolutely no way do we see this happening at E3. Now it could, and we could be totally caught off guard, but this is things that we don't think is going to show up there. And I'd like to kind of just address those and talk about them. So first thing we talk about was safe bets. Me, as Donnie's in the chat already crapping all over the fact, I think Kingdom Hearts, we know it's supposed to be coming this year still, Kingdom Hearts 3. I think it's going to be a big portion of this presentation. Like, this is the one. I'm a huge Kingdom Hearts fan. We know how much I love Disney. I like Final Fantasy. This is the perfect mesh. The story has been really convoluted over the years with all these spin-offs, but we've been waiting a long time for a proper sequel, like over 10 years at this point. So I am primed. I am ready to go. And I think they're going to spend a lot of time addressing this. And I'm excited. I still find it weird that it's coming out on PlayStation and Xbox, because Xbox has never had a Kingdom Hearts game. They do not have the remasters that have been done for PS4. Like, so if somebody's been an Xbox purist, your first installation is 3. Now, the story in Kingdom Hearts is already screwed up. If you try and jump in at 3, I am praying for you, because you will have no idea what's going on other than, hey, there's Mickey Mouse, there's Donald Duck, and there's Goofy. What's going on?
Oh, good. I can't wait.
So I'm excited for that, and I think it's going to be a huge portion of it. So, Coach, what's one of the things that you are pretty confident slam dunk is going to happen at E3 with Square Enix?
I just say the one, or I say both?
Just one right now.
Just one? Okay. My slam dunk is actually that Just Cause 4 will come. It will be their shooter for the year. I think it may have already been leaked. But I'm slam dunk. We're going to have a Just Cause 4. It's going to sell decent, because who doesn't love a giant sandbox where you can slingshot people into propane tanks and blow up buildings? Sign me up. That's a good time. It's
true. Just Cause 3 was a lot of fun. Now, I got it free on PS Plus or whatever it was, and it's not what I'd consider a great game, but man, it is a lot of fun.
It's a phenomenal sandbox. Yeah,
it totally is. It's a great playground and to blow up. And it was part of the alleged leak that we still don't know how much of it was true from the Walmart Canada that put out all the pre-orders. That was one of the titles listed on there. It seems like all the attention that was been on Rage 2 showing up allegedly from Bethesda, and then Bethesda almost immediately kind of confirming it, and has been Twitter teasing it since then. It's some sort of reveal is going to happen on May 14th of all things. So they're not even waiting until E3 for this. So, but yeah, Just Cause 4 was listed on there. So I think even if it's not a release for this year, which I'm not sure it would be, I think you're right, Mo. I think it garnered enough attention with Just Cause 3 easily being the best one of the series so far to warrant another sequel, another dip back into that universe. So, Caroline, your first safe bet. Now, I'm just going on a hunch here. I feel like you're going to be skewed towards Nintendo stuff.
You told me I could.
I know. That's how I tricked her to showing up.
I'm actually going to give both of mine, because you stole mine with Kingdom Hearts 3. Disney fans were collectively, Kingdom Hearts 3 is a no-brainer. I know that they're definitely going to be bringing it to the table. We've already seen some cool stuff with the Toy Story stuff, and I think that they'll probably tease another world. But my other one, is a Nintendo thing, and we have this lovely game that's coming out in July that I think that we might be seeing more of and getting more information about, because we've only had a demo that had 2 characters out of the 8 that they're going to be featuring in this game called Octopath Traveler. And it is a nice little RPG, and I've already got the Wayfarers edition pre-ordered.
Oh, nice. The one with the pop-up book and everything?
Yes.
Yeah, that's pretty cool looking.
I mean, they sold me on this game with the demo. I think it's gorgeous, and I can't wait to see what the polished product looks like. And I'm hoping that we get more information at E3. So I definitely think we're going to be seeing more before they launch it in a couple months.
I think it's pretty safe. I think you'll see some time dedicated to it. Maybe not a huge portion, but
No.
you can acknowledge it, I think, for sure. So my second safe bet, I'm not 100% confident we're going to get a lot on this, but I do think something will have to be said or shown or talked about at least, and that's their Avengers project. So it was announced a while ago that they had the rights to work on something Avengers related, and what time better than now when Avengers is on top of everyone's mind to give a little teaser towards that, building up to possibly a release for next year before Avengers 4, maybe. Like, that'd be a great time to release that around the same time. Like, we have Spider-Man coming out this year, so I don't think you need to have, I know it's by a different company, but you don't need to have Avengers come out this year as well. You push that off to next year, it's tying with the movie, it's going to increase sales there too. And I think it's a good leeway in, but I am interested to see what type of game this is going to be. Is it going to be, an RPG like Avengers Alliance? Is it going to be something totally different? Is it going to be along the same lines of like Infamous or Spider-Man? We don't know. But I think it's a pretty safe bet that we're going to find out at least some more information on what the Avengers project is going to be.
Yep.
Coach, your second safe bet.
Well, my second safe bet, and the reason I was trying to clarify earlier actually ties into your first. I believe that Square Enix is going to do remaster re-releases of Kingdom Hearts games for the Xbox. I think announcing it at E3 with, say, a mid-June to July release date gives Xbox a 6-month window to get acclimated to the game, hopefully driving up sales in late December, early January for Kingdom Hearts 3.
I think that's an excellent point. And I said it in my thing. I think it makes sense, because why would you just have them drop 3 in there and not do it at all? Like, I know, there's some sort of licensing agreement with Sony being involved in that stuff for sure, but the time has come. Like, you need to give those players an opportunity to experience that. And I mean, as much as we like to poke fun of Xbox sometimes here, in 4K on the Xbox One X, there's a potential that those games are going to look amazing, because even the PlayStation remakes do a very good job of upscaling and making those graphics look a lot better, that I can only imagine what the Xbox One X can do to improve on that on top of it. So Caroline, you only had just the one then, because we kind of stepped on yours a little bit?
You kind of did, but I mean, great
That's
ones,
fine.
like all that stuff.
That's fine. If we get step-on moments, just feel to chime in when we talk about it, then that's
okay.
That's fine. So we're going to move on to the hopes. What we'd like to see that probably, may not necessarily happen, but it's something in our mind that we'd like to see happen. Let's go to Caroline first, then, since you had to give up your other one.
Since we're on the Kingdom Hearts thing, and Coach mentioned it, this was actually on what I want. I wanted the announcement that Kingdom Hearts 3 would also be coming to not just PlayStation and Xbox, but maybe a full sweep on the Switch as well. In that regard, I would love to see the remastered versions on Switch too. I don't know how they would do that, considering there's no virtual console, but I mean, what do you do? Give us a cart that's they could probably do 2 different carts. But I've actually played Kingdom Hearts 1. I did not play Kingdom Hearts 2 personally, but I watched playthrough of it. And I love the series because, as somebody that loves Final Fantasy and loves Disney both, it was pretty much a no-brainer for me to get involved in it. And I've always been upset that I never owned the Sony PlayStation to ever actually experience it for myself. I did experience it with my roommates or my friends up in college. Played the first game on there because they're like, you got to play it. I got it at my apartment. We'll go over there and play it. So I played the first one, but I've always wanted to just sit down and play through and experience them all. And I think having had Chain of Memories on GBA and Dream Drop Distance on 3DS, and I mean, there's other ones on the Nintendo's handheld systems. I think that they've got a good enough rapport with Nintendo for the Kingdom Hearts stuff that it's definitely a possibility that they could be bringing the original main story games to Switch. if they wanted to.
And you think that they could definitely do it even in a downscale capability, so it wouldn't be the PS4 remastered or if Xbox does remasters, but it could be the PS3 version, PS2 versions rather, even just upscaled a little bit. And I tell you, if they did a simultaneous release on Kingdom Hearts 3 across all 3 consoles,
that would be huge.
It would be huge. Number one, to be like one of the first titles to probably do that, period, because Nintendo has always been behind the 8 ball. But I think this E3 might be the changer for that, where we see some things released at the same time. But I'd be hard pressed to decide on where I'd want to play it. Like I would love, obviously the visuals would be important to me, being waiting this long for this game. But then I'm like, man, but if I can pick it up and just play it on the go,
yeah,
that's amazing too. So I think what I would do if your scenario came true, I think I'd buy 1 and 2 on the Switch again, but I'd buy 3 still on my PS4 or Xbox to experience it. Well, I'd buy it on PS4 because Donnie doesn't care, so I need to game share with him on that one. He's yawning in our chat right now. So
I know he's being so salty.
Yeah, but I like that idea. I would love to see that happen. So for me, I would like to see, and I don't think this is necessarily going to happen, but I would love it, a follow-up to Sleeping Dogs. That was a fantastic game that I caught on very late, and in my mind, it was next level Grand Theft Auto, because you still had the same, gritty story in an open world sandbox environment, not sandbox like Just Cause, but like a Grand Theft Auto town. But the fighting mechanics and the shooting mechanics were leaps and bounds way better than what Grand Theft Auto was doing at the time, and it was a really good story to boot too. So I would love to see a follow up to the Sleeping Dogs generation, and I think it's been time they've release them and then they remaster them and put them on this gen consoles. So I could see them continuing that and making another Sleeping Dogs would be something I'd like to see.
Cool.
Coach, what do you got?
I was really glad you said that, because I was about to have 2 for my first one. So my first hope was there were a pair of sequels that I wanted to see, one of them being Sleeping Dogs and the other one being a sequel to Thief. Thief was the first game I either played or beat on the PS4. Because I picked my PS4 at launch. I can't remember if it was a launch game, but I think it may have been.
I think it was, or it was very shortly after.
And I really enjoyed the game. I had a good time with the stealth. I know it didn't get a lot of love, but it was a game I really enjoyed. Sleeping Dogs, another game that I loved. It was one of my favorite games on the 360, and I actually bought the remaster, going, I want to go back in because I love the story, and again, the shooting was very, very good. So that was my first hope, was that pair of sequels for those 2.
I love it. Thief is a good one because that's something people have, I think, at this point forgotten about. So this would be a great, like a surprise moment type thing if they dropped either one of those great games back into the game sphere that we live in. Caroline, your second hope.
I love RPGs. You think?
Nah.
Secret of Mana is a fantastic game.
Ooh.
Last year, there was the collection of the first 3 Secret of Mana games, or the Mana series, released in Japan, the Seiken Densetsu, which is their Secret of Mana title collection. And it includes the first 2 games and the third one, which was never released in America. It was never localized at all. I want a localization of that game, and I want the collection to come to the Switch for America. I think that would be fantastic. And they put Secret of Mana on the classic edition for the SNES. So clearly, they've got a good enough thing going with them that they would be able to put something like that on a Nintendo Switch. They did it in Japan. So I just think that they need to be localizing it. And it would be great. I mean, it's kind of like a Mother 3 thing, it's the third game in there, and it had never been localized, and it would be great if it did.
I agree. And the Switch would be a great setup for that. Like, you're not going to see that. Well, you could see it come to PS4, Xbox, but it's not. Its audience wouldn't be there. It'd be on the Switch for sure.
All on Super Nintendo. So yeah,
that makes sense. All right, so my second one. This is a stretch, and I kind of going to do a little cheat like what Mo tried to do, but I stole one of his answers last time. I would like to see, because they're releasing it on Switch now. So they're doing The World Ends With You. I want to see a sequel to that game, though, because I'm one of the few people who played it when it came out initially. And I thought it was a great game. I want to see a follow-up to that. Or
a prequel?
A mainstream Final Fantasy game.
Ooh.
Not a World of Final Fantasy, not a Crystal Chronicles follow-up. I want a legit Final Fantasy game, even if it's something that's just a rehash of an older one, but like a full-fledged realized Final Fantasy game.
I mean, they have Final Fantasy VII remaster in the works. You want that?
We'll
You
see.
want that coming out? Yeah.
I'll get to that. I'll get to that later.
Okay.
Spoilers. Coach, what's your next hope?
So Square gave me one of the games that I literally would say if I was to take all sports games out of the equation, it would be hard pressed for me not to say that this isn't my favorite franchise right now, and it's the Tomb Raider series.
Mm-hmm.
My hope is there is no exclusive deal for either platform at this show. I want everybody to get everything at the same time. And that's my hope. Like I'm very worried that the reason PS4 is it's not a year-long difference is because they ponied up money, and I'm really scared that I'm going to hear exclusively on PS4 you get this and this, and that's going to just break my heart because this is a game that it's the first game that I actually beat on the Xbox One. It's the first game that I went to my kids and was like, you have to play this. This is incredible, watching her story and everything she goes through and how she battles it. I loved the first Tomb Raider. It was one of my favorite games that I think I've played in my life. If I have to wait for content, I'm going to be heartbroken.
I am with you 100%. I'm so glad you brought this up. Now, we know Tomb Raider is going to be shown. That's a given. And most likely during Square Enix's press event, at least partially, if there's not one of those scenarios we talked about where it's first on this or exclusively on this. I think your hope here is on point. I don't think personally it's going to be an exclusive or timed exclusive or whatever you want to put on those voiceovers for either thing. And I think the big reason is that with the sequel, was it Rise of the Tomb Raider, that killed that game. So yes, exclusive for Xbox, that was a great win for Microsoft, but I'm sure they paid a lot of money for that because that Tomb Raider prior to that did very well across all audiences like that game. It's hailed as like, hey, it's just as good as Uncharted, if not better in some aspects. So that's a big deal. Not a lot of companies can say that. To then sell it to Microsoft only, where you isolated an entire audience that, for all we know, I mean, Xbox is kind of tight-lipped about it, but the news has leaked out a little bit. There's a much bigger install base with PS4. Now, are they active? That's debatable, but there's an opportunity to sell more on this other console that got it a year later. And I'm going to be honest, Coach, I love that first Tomb Raider. I have not played that second one yet because of that scenario. All hype for it died for me. And I just had no interest, but I want to play it and I want to play this next one. But it just is, by the time it came out, the hype was gone. And there were so many other games I was playing that I was like, well, I'm not going to drop everything to play this. And it makes me mad. And I know it's on Game Pass. And I'm pretty sure Donnie actually bought it and I have it available in my library anyway, even without Game Pass. But I just haven't gotten to it. And I'm hoping the E3 hype will make me want to say, okay, now I need to drop everything and play it. But yeah, I think Square Enix, regardless of the money being thrown at them, unless it's enough to make up for that, I don't think they're going to make that same mistake in isolating their customer base again. Hopefully.
Sounds good.
Cool. That's it, right? We both did two hopes?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So we're on to the no chance in heck is this going to happen at E3. So I went first the first time. Caro went first the second time. Coach, you're first on what do you think is not going to happen at E3 with Square Enix?
I don't think this is going to happen the way that I want it to happen. I think it will happen a little bit. I really hope Square Enix begins the port. How do you say it? The port phase of their business.
Okay.
Ports have become huge. It's become something every company's doing. They're porting old games. Xbox did it with Back Compat. Switch is doing it with the Wii U games. I mean, it's something that's a business model.
Yeah.
There are some incredible games in this library. There's a game, I can't remember what it's called. It's like Front Something 4. It came out, I believe, on the PlayStation and PlayStation 2. It was one of my favorite games that I played back when I first started getting into like different games, right? Because I had the PS3, and so everyone's telling me about these old games. So I went and picked up a PS2 or a PlayStation, I remember which one it was, and I was playing these games that I never heard of, and I was really enjoying them.
Front Mission.
Is that what it's called?
Yep. Front Mission 4 was released in 2003 on PS3, it looks like.
Please,
Yeah.
okay. And I love that game. I had a really good time with that game. And so I would love for them to go back to this giant library they have. I've never played a Final Fantasy game for more than 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I played 40 minutes of Final Fantasy 15 and was like, no, thank you. I have no idea who these people are. I don't know why you're important. I don't know why this girl who works at an auto shop is wearing this outfit. I'm out. Like, I'm not what I would say a prude, but I don't watch movies with nudity for the most part. I'm not into that stuff. Like, I have a beautiful wife that I adore. That's really all I need, guys.
Oh, you made the girl happy.
and so, like, with that, like, I don't enjoy that stuff. And so when that was the first thing I got into, when we get, the car breaks down, I'm like, oh, I'm good, I'm out. There's a great library there. The old Deus Ex games are amazing. I would love to see those ported over.
Totally.
I think that would be just great. So that's I'm probably not going to happen, but gosh, I would love it.
Sure, that's fair. I like it. Caroline, you're first.
Super Mario RPG 2.
That was one of the ones I was gonna go with. So
Are you serious?
yeah, I was thinking, I'm like, that man, I would love that, but there's no way.
Never gonna happen. I've always wanted a sequel for that game, and it's got such good character. I like Gino.
Yeah, Gino.
Just great. And it's a shame that they kind of had like a falling out and ruined the waters for that, but one can hope, right?
That's true. I mean, it's not. I think it's safe saying it's probably not going to be there, but I don't think it's out of the realm of this could never happen, because look at Mario crossing over Rabbids.
This is true. True.
That was a lot less likely, I think, than seeing a Super Mario RPG 2, but who knows?
Yeah.
So I'm going with the bold one first. There will be no Final Fantasy VII in Square Enix's showcase at all.
You don't think there's not even going to be a teaser?
Nope, because if there is going to be a teaser, it's going to be in Sony's. That's what I feel. Sony's going to hold the cards for it. They're not. That's one where they're going to pony up the money, and Square's not going to talk about it because it's going to be main staged on like Sony if there is something to show. At this point, I can say honestly, I don't really care. I thought
it was beautiful, and as somebody who really loved the first, obviously the original, I was floored. I'm like, this is something that's needed to happen for a long time, and I don't think that it's going to be around for like another 4-5 years, but it would be nice. I stopped caring about it because there's been no talk. And when there was talk, they're like, "Oh, it's going to be episodic," and I'm like, "Why? How are you going to do that?" Oh, yeah.
The way a Final Fantasy game works, like, it just didn't make sense. I'm like, "What is this, Telltale now?" Like, it's not. Yeah. It doesn't make sense. So unless they come back and say, they rein it back in and say that's not true. It's going to be like a Final Fantasy game is now, but it's going to be 7 remastered. Then it might get me back in the camp for it. But for being so excited when they unveiled that, 2 years ago now at this point?
2 years. And
they've said nothing since, other than it's still being worked on. We're confirming we're doing it, but that's it. The hype is gone for me. But if it is there, I'm pretty confident it's going to be solely during Sony's presentation.
I agree with you. I think that's a good assessment.
Yeah, Coach, your second not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but you guys know, I'm a host of the OT, and I'm going to throw that in there. And we're a storytelling podcast. We tell the stories and make the memories. And I'm going to tell you a little intro to a memory. November 3rd, 2014. My wife and I are standing in line at a midnight release for a very amazing game that I really enjoyed. And we go home, we put it in, and I remember it starting up and going, Square worked on this? That game was called Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. Now, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare did not get a lot of love. It was, I think it did well scores, but fans did not like it because the multiplayer was atrocious. Like, not good at all. And I want the cinematic stuff that they were trying to do in that game. And I don't know how Square was involved. They might have just been part of the publishing side, because I don't know if they have a deal with Activision. But I remember seeing them on there, and so I was like, you know what? I'm going for it. I want another one of those with the story they were trying to tell fixed. So that's my thing.
I like it. I don't see it being shown at a Square Enix event if that were to happen. But you're right, I had no idea they even worked on that. Because I'm a very casual Call of Duty person that might just play it for the story and that's it. I had no idea they worked on it, but I just looked and I'm like, sure enough, like, yeah, Coach is not making it up.
I love my Call of Duty, so that's like the one franchise I can tell you that I know most of my stuff.
Right. So, is it out of the realm of possibility that another one is coming? No, but I don't see it being on Square's stage. I think that would be they've been sided with Sony for the last couple of years now, but I see him siding with one of the big two versus showing on the stage.
My idea on this one was with Black Ops being the game this year, that they could tease, hey, and this is who's up in the next development cycle. Maybe here's what's coming next. You know what I mean? Just a small snippet. It could just be, you bring back who was the villain? I think it was Kevin Spacey. You bring back something with him on it, or one of the other villains in there, and you just it could be just a still frame or something with that. And I think that would be a great, like, hey, they're going to continue the story next year. We just got to wait to see how.
So also on the not going to happen list, they totally are not going to use Kevin Spacey if they do it again.
That's not a good guy. But I'm not. Yeah, I'm going to walk away from that.
Villain, sure, but nah. So my next one. Oh wait, no, it's Caroline first, right?
Is it my turn?
My apologies. Your turn.
Okay. There's this guy. If y'all know him, you'll know where I'm going with this. His name is Tetsuya Takahashi. And this guy has given me great joy the past 6 months of my life. I did not know about the Xeno series until I picked up Xenoblade Chronicles 2 in December. And since then, I have gone back and played the first Xenoblade Chronicles in the series, and I plan on playing X. And I'm very interested in Xeno verse that was before Xenoblade. It all started with a game that happens to be having its 20th anniversary this year, called Xenogears, originally for the PlayStation.
Yeah.
Now that we have a good rapport with Nintendo doing the Xenoblade games, wouldn't it be great if we got a across the board Xbox, Sony, Nintendo, or just Sony and Nintendo, since it was originally on Sony, and now that they've got good stuff with Nintendo, I want an HD remake of Xenogears. I think that would be a great way to get people who are interested in the Xeno series now to play the original and experience the original, like what started everything that Takahashi made.
And that would be a great kickoff for them for like a 2019 year. Like to show it during this, let Kingdom Hearts ride the wave until next year, and then drop that in there for the JRPG fans, because we know Japan will eat it up.
No doubt.
And people in the US will probably have moved on and been done with Kingdom Hearts, which Japan also eats up too. But it gives another anchor for next year to lead up into the following E3, because it's pretty safe, I think, for us to all say that we're not going to see a Final Fantasy game before next E3 at the bare minimum. So those would be two great space holders for them to kind of plug in the time being. So that'd be interesting.
I don't know if it'll happen. I wish it would happen, but it was just something I was thinking about. Like, I would really be thrilled if I could get a way to get back into the previous games. Like Xeno Saga is apparently the way that it all happened, but Xenogears is the first one.
Right. Makes sense. So my last not gonna happen, and it's also something I don't really want to happen. So I kind of took a different approach for you guys. You guys were like, this is never gonna happen, but I would love for it to happen. I just going with this isn't gonna happen. We are not going to see a return of Agent 47, aka the Hitman, this year. I feel like although the last Hitman reviewed pretty well, they also took the episodic approach where things were released. You had like one mission every couple months. I think that kind of hurt it a little bit, and I think we need to have that take a few years off. Do the Assassin's Creed thing, take a couple of years off, come back with a better product. And like Assassin's Creed Origins was phenomenal and did really, really well. I think Hitman could be the same thing there too, or even put him to bed a little bit longer and give him the Sam Fisher treatment like Splinter Cell, where I think we'll see that coming back this year. But I think Agent 47 will be absent for some time being.
I think a Ghost Wildlands approach to Hitman would change the game, and that would take time. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like a real open world Grand Theft Auto type map where you can pick up your phone and go, yes, I'll take this mission. And then if you don't, like other agents try to come kill you if you haven't done a mission in a certain amount of time or you haven't completed something.
Ugh.
I think that would be epic. So
I think that's a great idea.
Yeah. Square, call me. My name's Coach. I do stuff with video games. Not well.
Copyright, play some video games. You have to buy it from us now, Square. You can't just take it.
It'll cost you 3 donuts on my cheat days. So I'll see you next Friday with coconut.
Fair enough. So that pretty much wraps up what we want to talk about with Square Enix leading into E3. As we always do at PSVG, we go crazy overboard during E3 coverage. So we will have at least one person, if not multiple people, having live reactions alongside with the presser for Square Enix. So join us for that. Feel free to comment as we're doing it. You can watch the stream on our feed as well as our reactions on the same feed. Donnie's a wizard with that kind of stuff, so he's working out the logistics there. But live chat, watch with us, react with us, and we will be back to do a post show hopefully soon after that presser comes out. Hopefully that night we record it, if not the day after. And I'd like to, if we can line it up, have Coach and Caroline back to talk about those things and see where we were right or wrong. And hopefully Caroline gets some Nintendo news so we can trick her into coming back. Because I feel like if it's just Octopath Traveler, she won't want to talk about the rest of the stuff. Maybe. Oh no, Kingdom Hearts. You'll talk about Disney.
And I'll talk about Final Fantasy too, because Final Fantasy is something that I grew up with and that I really enjoyed. So, Square's done some good stuff in my book.
That's true. So you heard it here first, everybody. It's a date.
Okay.
The three of us will be back.
Sure.
Yay.
So. All right, so let's wrap it up. We'll be doing Fast and Furious with more continued coverage for E3. Pretty much regular content leading right up to the big event in a little under a month. But before we send you off into the dark, dark night, Coach, where can people find you and what are you going to be up to?
You can find me at Play Some Video Games blog, psvg.blog. Did I do it right?
Yes, PSVG.blog.
Yeah, and I do a little show called The OT, which my kids mostly listen to, and some awesome community members. And you can find me on the Twitters at Coach Hulk, and that's the same on the Xbox, I think. It's like the Coach Hulk or something very close to it. I could not tell you what my PS4 name is. I have no idea. I couldn't. Yeah, it's a name. With words.
It's definitely not the same. I know that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Right.
Fair enough. Caroline, where can people find you, and what are you working on?
I'm the Nintendo. I'm working on always trying to be in the Nintendo Shack with Donnie and Jason, and Kevin and I do Arcadia Academia, which we just actually recorded right before this. We're talking about Harvest Moon, the original game, so check it out. Other than that, hit me up in the Discord, and I'll be nice.
Sometimes. Depends. Depends. You can find me at PSVG Kevin on Twitter. I'm constantly in the Discord there. Hopefully you're not sick of me, everybody listening, because you're going to hear a lot of me leading up to E3 as well as on the E3 stuff because, we try and split up the workload, and some people are closely aligned with the Empire. Some people are aligned with Nintendo Shack. Some people are aligned with Sony, and Kevin gets all the rest plus what he's interested in. So I'm pretty much on all of the things. So don't get sick of me. I apologize if so. Hopefully you like listening. If you do, hey, tell a friend. Visit the website, as Coach Mo mentioned, psvg.blog. Tweeted us at PSVG. Let us know what you're excited for E3. But more importantly, everybody, we ask that you never stop gaming.